All right, let's go.
And then hit it again and stop. All right. I've been asked about 1,000 times how I wrap people. Seems like everybody that I wrap hits a new world record of PR. My name's Brian Heinode. I'm the owner of Blessed Iron Barbell. I've been doing this about 20 years, powerlifting and competing. Got 10 world championships and 8 national championships. Hold untold number of records in the Sub-Masters, Open, Sub-Masters. And just want to share with everybody, and so my guys can go to it and make a reference anytime I'm training them or teaching them, and they know how. That way, they know how to wrap. And this way, I want to explain first. I want to explain the difference between knee wraps. Every lifter's different, so by being a different lifter, different types of lifters, they need different types of knee wraps. There's not one set of knee wraps, I believe, that's like perfect for every lifter. There's all kinds. There's soft knee wraps that give and just give a little bit of support. They're great for the beginner. But then when you get into the bigger lifts, you need something that'll give you great support, great power. Some lifters are explosive. They need a knee wrap, in my opinion, that it has a little more stopping power, that slow that acceleration down, so that they can actually reverse the weight at a more effective speed and control. Lifters that have great control and not a lot of explosion need a knee wrap that recoils and gives back and gives great rebound. So I got 2 examples here of what my guys use. About 60% of my gym is Metal Warriors. Well, we use Metal Gear. The other 40% use Titan gear. We don't currently have any ins or lifters. We do have a few female lifters that use ins or knee wraps, though, because they're beginning. I got 2 examples here. Metal does make 2 kinds of knee wraps. They make the silver, which gives you great rebound, great pressure, good for stability. They're a little wider in girth. If you notice here, as I hold them together, they're probably about 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters wider, which gives them a little more coverage area. I also have a Titan knee wrap here, Signature Series Gold. Great for stopping power. A lifter that's explosive, they could use these, and they're great importance to them to have that stopping power so that they don't over accelerate and lose control of the bar. I'm going to show you guys how to wrap these 2 types of knee wraps today. I only wrap one way. I teach everybody to wrap that same way. There's 2 purposes for it. One, when I was younger, I had a complete patella separation of my right knee, and I was sitting in the audience one day, and one of the greatest powerlifters on the planet decided to teach me how to wrap knees when I was new to the sport, because I explained to him what had happened to me. I've wrapped that way ever since. 14 years I've wrapped the same way, wrapped everyone else the same way, and never varied from it. It gives 2 purposes. On the knee, where the patella insertion is, you'll notice when I wrap that I create an X over top of the knee that locks the patella tendon into the knee insertion point tighter. It also creates an X behind the knee so that it creates stopping power, more stopping power with the knee wrap that will stop you, and it creates more explosion or recoil out of so that you can come up faster with ones for people who need the explosion. All right, the last part about it is I wrap a certain way, outside to in, so that you can push out against the knee wrap, and then when you're coming back up, the knee wrap naturally pulls your knees back in so that you push up harder. Most of the lifters I have are wide stance squatters. I will tell you it works either way, whether you're narrow or wide, the way I wrap. It doesn't make any difference. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to wrap, first with the Metal Gear wraps, and then with the Signature wraps. First and most important thing when you're wrapping, you want to make sure that your toe points back and pulls back into your hip. So it needs to be straight in alignment, not rocked out, not rocked in, straight back. This way your knee can't move. It's locked into place. By doing that, you stabilize the whole joint in place before you start wrapping. Now with the metal wrap, I take the ball on the outside, I come underneath the knee. The center of the wrap is at the center of the insertion point below the knee. This way you're getting 3 wraps around that insertion point before you start climbing the knee really good to get a good tight wrap. So I'm going to pull over and come across the top of the knee, locked. As I'm doing this, I'm keeping the roll tight to my leg so that I can get leverage on it to push on it. Okay? By doing that, I can push down and crank it. And I can pull under by just pushing close to the knee. You have to keep that roll close to the knee. If you don't and you pull out, the knee rack gives and it pulls back and recoils in its natural position. So from there, I'm going to come around the top of the knee. If you notice now, my knee is locked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and make the X in the back of my knee by coming down and across again. And coming and making an X right there across the top of the insertion. It cannot be on top of the kneecap now, because that kneecap needs to float up and down the way it's naturally designed to do. It doesn't need to float side to side. That's when you get caught and you tear the meniscus or tear the back of the kneecap. And you don't want that. So from there, you're just going to go behind the knee again and start climbing and closing these gaps and making sure the center of the knee rack closes those gaps. Every one of those gaps is for purpose. When you watch people in the meet and that knee wrap opens up, it is totally useless then. So if you're getting that gap, you're doing it wrong. You need to make sure you're closing those gaps. All right, so from there, again, if I do this, I'm losing some. So I want to keep it tight to the leg, push across, push down. You see now, if you look at the knee wrap, you can see the white inside the knee wrap from the elastic. If you're not pulling it that tight, it's not tight enough. Okay? So from there, I'm going to climb up, and I'm going to go up and half that knee wrap. I'm closing this gap here. Half that knee wrap. All right, and then I'm going to crank down again and come under. And then make sure I get that last tug. And then just loosely wrap it. See how much extra I got to be able to tuck the tail now? And by tucking the tail, I mean, what we're going to do is we're going to turn that knee wrap, face it down, and tuck it under and up and through. Yes. And it will be tight. From there, I just pull a tab. Now this tab, you can do whatever you want with it. You can fold it down, fold it up, whatever you need to do with it. But what that does is it creates a pocket on the side of the knee here. So that when the squat is done, all you have to do is take your thumb and push it into it and pull it loose. And it's off. The worst thing is to have your feet go to sleep while you're doing it and the feeling of that and not be able to get the knee wrap off when it's done. Now I'm not telling you anywhere in the process of how to wrap these that other ways aren't right to wrap for some people. I'm telling you my way. To me, the rebound and the pressure and everything, the stability I get out of my knee wrap and the way I do it is the best way I've ever learned. The lifter that taught me, one of the best lifters ever. So I sit back and I sit on the word of that lifter and my 20 years of doing this. So I'm going to show you with the signature wrap. It's a little different because it's narrower. It's also a stiffer wrap. It doesn't give as much. So you have to make sure that when you wrap it perfectly. And I'm also going to do it on my other knee so that you see how the ball needs to go in your hand so that when you go to wrap the knee, it's in the right position. Again, it's just like I had this one. The ball is on the outside of my knee. It's going to be on the outside of my knee again. I'm going to come under. My insertion point's right here. The center of the knee wrap again goes in the exact same spot. If you'll notice, I have to keep it really, really tight to my leg. And these knee wraps, they don't give much. So, and with these knee wraps, I can't go 3 or 4 high. I'm gonna go 1, cross, 1, get my tension, come back across. Make that X and lock my kneecap, or lock my patella tendon in place. I'm also locking the back tendons in place and everything else to give me something to push off of, just like I said before. From there, again, I'm closing my gaps. It never changes. Doesn't matter the type of knee wrap. You have to close the gaps. There can't be a gap in a knee wrap. I can't stress it enough. From there, I'm closing the gap again. These are harder to pull on, so you'll notice I'm jerking a little harder. And all I'm doing is going half the wrap each time and climbing my leg. And from there, the tail gets tucked exactly the same way. You have to back it off a little bit to get your fingers under there, but do what you got to do to get that thing turned under like that. it's important the knee wrap lock in place. I may have to pull it down like that to get to that tab, to pull it, deal with the pain. It's better than the pain of your knee coming apart. From there, I flatten everything back out. My knee's ready to go. There's no bend in it. That's it. And that type of knee wrap, like I said before, it's for stopping. A lifter that's too fast, loses control in the bucket, in the hole, whatever you want to call it, these knee wraps are perfect for them. Metal also makes a knee wrap that's in black that does the exact same thing as these do. Titan makes another knee wrap that's blue, silver, and black that does what the gray ones do. So there are variations. I will tell you I like the metal better because they're a little wider. The coverage area is a little better. That's my preference as a lifter. I've been a metal lifter for almost 12 years. So this is what we got. This is how you wrap your knees. I want to make sure everybody's clear on that. And best squatting to everybody.